Right, folks, we're here with Learn Trick number 10, and we're doing our test corrections. Let's start off with problem number 1. So problem number 1, we want to know what is the value of x. Now, if you're going through our process from when we learned this skill, we would be looking for some markings. I don't really have any markings, but I should notice that everything that's given to me is an angle. So we know this angle right here, we know this angle right here, and we know this angle right here, and we have like an expression for each of those angles. So we should then be like, well, if we're given information about all of the angles, what do I know about all the angles in a triangle? Well, all the angles in a triangle add up to 180. So we should be able to set up an equation. So we're going to start with 8x minus 1. We're going to add that with 3x plus 9, and we are going to add that with 3x plus 4, and all three angles should add up and equal 180. So we're going to use this idea to solve for x. So let's start with our x's. We've got 8x, 3x, and 3x. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14x. And then we have -1, 9, and 4. So 9 plus 4 would be 13, minus 1 would be 12. And that's equal to 180. All right, so that means that we can go ahead and now solve for x. So I need to do my order of operations backwards. I'm going to start with the addition. To move it, we're going to subtract it. So 14x is equal to, we know that this would be 168. And then we know that we need to divide by 14. So then we need to do 168 divided by 14. And that means that x is equal to 12. Make sure we're answering our question, and our answer is B. All right, let's look at the next question. So next question, we're solving for the measurement of angle U. We're finding the measurement of angle U. Hopefully we see that angle U is written here at the top of our triangle. And again, we're going to be looking for markings, and we're trying to figure out what these markings mean. So this one does have some markings. We've got these tick marks right here. So you should know these markings, and you should know that they mean that the tick marks means that this side is equal to this side. These are equal sides to each other. If we have equal sides, then their opposite angles are also equal. And I can draw a little marking here to represent that this angle is equal to this angle. So if this side is x plus 10, that means this side is also x plus 10. And kind of relating back to the previous problem, we now have an angle measurement for all three angles. So all three angles would add up to 180. So we're going to add our base angle with our base angle. Angle U would be considered our vertex angle. But we're going to add these together. So x plus 10 plus x plus 10 plus 3x, and again, this is going to equal 180. We can simplify the left side, x plus 3x, so that's going to be 5x. 10 and 10 will be 20, and that's equal to 180. Order of operations backwards in order to solve, so we're going to start with addition first, so subtract 20. So 5x is equal to what? 160. And then we're going to divide by 5 and divide by 5. So 160 divided by 5 is 32. Now be careful. There's some of you who might have thought that was the answer. Remember to answer the question. The answer asked me to find the measurement of angle U. And the measurement of angle U is equal to 3 times x. And if our x is 32, what we're doing is 3 times 32. So 3 times 32 would be 96. So the measure of angle U is equal to 96 degrees. This is our final answer. All right, let's go ahead and jump to the next. So number 3, we want to know what the measure of the vertex angle is. Okay, vertex angle. So that's vocabulary that we do need to know. So vertex angle is not the base angles. So again, your vertex angle is not the base angles. So let's come over here to our picture. Let's figure out what these markings mean. We need to identify the base angles. And once we know what the base angles are, then we should be able to figure out that vertex angle. All right, we see these little tick marks. We talked about them in the previous problem. Because these tick marks match, we know that this side is congruent to this side. And if the sides are congruent, then the opposite angles are also congruent. So this angle is equal to this angle. So if this angle here is 2x plus 5, that would mean that the angle right here is also 2x plus 5. All right, so these angles that are congruent, these are what we call the base angles. Which means that this top angle here that's not congruent to the other two, this top angle is your vertex angle. So it asked us to solve for the vertex angle, which meant we would need to figure out what x is equal to. Now, a little bit of kind of distractor here, we did have these measurements for the side. We had 5y minus 1 and 2y plus 10. But if I solve for y, is that going to help me with the vertex angle? No, because the vertex angle needs an x, not a y. So kind of similar with some of the other problems, we have an angle measurement for all 3 angles. And again, all 3 angles add up to 180. So 3x minus 5 plus 2x minus 5, or excuse me, plus 5 plus 2x plus 5 should all equal 180. So again, we've got the vertex angle, the base angle, and the base angle again. Combine like terms. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7x. And 5 plus 5 is 10, but then minus 5 would be plus 5, and that's equal to 180. All right, let's go ahead and subtract 5. Subtract 5. So 7x is equal to 175. And again, we are going to be solving for x. So that means we need to divide by 7. So 175 divided by 7 is 25. No, that is not. I typed that in wrong. 175 divided by 7, 25. All right, now we're good. Okay. But again, is this your angle? No. We need to find the vertex angle. Your vertex angle is equal to 3x minus 5. And if we know x is 25, we're doing 3 times 25 minus 5. 3 times 25 is 75 minus 5. So that means that this vertex angle is 70 degrees. That is your final answer. And so we see it right there, answer choice D. All righty, let's move on to number 4. Number 4, Figure to the right is measured in inches. Considering the given information, we want to know the length of XA. And that is right here. All right, now we're going to be looking at some markings. So we've got this tick mark here, this tick mark here. We've got the 2 tick marks here and the 2 tick marks here. So you should be looking at these tick marks and you should be going, this side is equal to this side. They have the same tick marks, which means that point A is a midpoint. You should then be looking at these markings on the side and be like, this is 2 markings, this is 2 markings. That means each side must be the same. So that would make point B a midpoint. Midpoints, once they are connected, form a mid-segment. So from A to B, that's a mid-segment. If you think about your theorem, every mid-segment should have a parallel side. So hopefully you can see that X to Y, that this is parallel to your mid-segment. Okay, so then we had to remember a relationship between the mid-segment and the parallel side. So if you remember correctly, remember that the big one is the parallel side. So if I take the mid-segment and I take it and I double it, it's going to be the length of the parallel side. So we need to now switch this into some math. Okay, well 2 times the mid-segment is x plus 1. And that's going to be equal to the parallel side, and the parallel side is 5x minus 7. Now that we have that set up, let's just do some algebra here. Distribute. So 2x plus 2, and that's equal to 5x minus 7. All right, we need to get x by itself, but there are 2 different x's that we need to bring together. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2x and subtract 2x. So 2 is equal to 3x minus 7. I'm going to actually rewrite this just to give us a little bit more space. So 2 is equal to 3x minus 7. Again, our goal is to solve for x, so I'm going to do order of operation backwards since we're solving. So I'm going to first get rid of this negative 7 by adding it. So 7, 8, 9 is equal to 3x. Divide by 3, and we know that x is equal to 3. Again, not my final answer. I need to come back to the problem. We want to know the value of XA. So XA is equal to 2 times x minus 2. So again, if our x is 3, we're going to substitute in where the x was. That's going to now be a 3. And we're going to simplify. 2 times 3 is 6, minus 2 is 4. So we know that the length of XA, which we highlighted here in yellow, the length of that is 4 inches. And that would have been answer choice C. All right, last but not the least, problem number 5. All right, in the diagram of A, B, C, we want to know the measurement of BCA. So let's find BCA. So let's start at B. We're going to go to C, and then we're going to go to A. So if we follow that pathway, if we again go to B, then to C, then to A, then you'll know that we are solving for this angle right in here, kind of like in the cut right here. So we want to know what this angle is. So let's take a look at our markings. We see some markings about angles. Okay, we've got this angle, we've got this angle, and then we have this angle that is on the outside over here. So if you remember us talking about the external angles, and this involves like your remote interior angles. So remember that A and B would be considered remote. This one's remote and this one's remote. Notice how we do have a measurement for 8x minus 30. So this is what we would be calling external, because it's external from the angles inside of the triangle. So if you remember correctly from class, we would take the remote plus the remote, and it should equal your external. So if one of my remotes is 2x plus 2, the other remote is 4x plus 8. And again, we're going to set this equal to the exterior, which is 8x minus 30. I can't simplify the right side, but on the left side, I can do 2x and 4x, which would be 6x. And 2 plus 8 would be 10. And that's equal to 8x minus 30. All right, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 6x, subtract 6x. And at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and add 30. Once you get stronger with equations, as you should be, you can go ahead and do some of these movements in one step. So 10 plus 30 would be 40. And 8 minus 6 would have been 2x. Last but not least, we need to divide by 2. So that would mean that our x is equal to 20. Now, again, is that my final answer? No, we need to figure out what this question mark is. Now, we don't know what this question mark is, but we know a couple other things that we could use. We know that all the angles should add up to 180. So, for example, if I substituted the 20 up here, 4 times 20 would have been 80. 80 plus 8 would have been 88 degrees. Right here, we've got 2 times x plus 2, so like 2 times 20 plus 2, that would have been 42 degrees. And again, all three angles should add up to 180. So if you did 88 plus 42 plus, instead of a question mark, we can put x. And again, we know that these should add up to 180. So if we do 88 plus 42, we get 130 plus x is equal to 180. We're going to subtract 130 on both sides. So that means x is equal to 50. So that means this angle right here is equal to 50 degrees. So that's one way you could do it. Another way some students like to do this is they see that this angle that we're trying to solve for and this angle on the outside, they form a straight line, and a straight line is also 180 degrees. So they could have said, once we substituted for x right here for 20, so 8 times 20 minus 3. So 8 times 20, well, 8 times 2 would be 16, and then add a 0, and then minus 30. And so you would have gotten 130, which would be this exterior angle. And again, if these two angles are supposed to add to 180, then this other angle had to be 50, because 50 plus 130 would equal 180. All right. Well, hope that helps. Good luck retesting. Have a good one.